welcome back to another normal baseball team projection will be. Today we got the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another normal baseball prediction will be. I'm Alex. Normal dog. That's Lewis. Today we have a special guest. Come on. It's Milo. Milo is back.
Normal dog. Welcome to the podcast.
The original normal dog. He is only here for the treats. If there's echo in this,
we're sorry.
In this whole episode, we're sorry. We are testing out new mics. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's get
right into it. Milwaukee Brewers, a good team last year, very good team. They won their division. They won the NL Central with 95 wins, 67 losses. So a very good season. Clap it up for the Brewers. Snap it up. But yeah, it's very interesting. The Brewers having a good time. They made a couple additions, couple subtractions, and we're here to talk about them, obviously. So I'm just gonna get into their additions first. So here we go. Pedro Severino signed free agent catcher for a 1-year deal.
Okay.
Who else did they sign? Rowdy Tellez avoided arbitration back in November, which is good for him.
Very, very nice.
Hunter Renfro. They got in trade with the Red Sox. The Red Sox got JBJ back, and the Brewers got Hunter Renfro, so he'll be in their outfield this year instead of Jackie Bradley Jr. They got Brad Boxberger to a 1-year contract with an opt-in for second. Andrew McCutchen, a pretty big one, I'd argue.
Touch.
On a 1-year contract. And then they avoided arbitration with a bunch of people, and that's about it. They obviously lost JBJ. They lost Eduardo Escobar, free agency. Hunter Strickland. That's really all they lost.
Milo and I are sitting here in anticipation of hearing everything about the Brewers.
There's more that they lost. Who was the big one that they lost?
Josh Hader. No, I just like Josh Hader.
Oh, Vogelback was the big one that they kind of lost.
The Brewer.
The Brewer.
Daniel Vogelback.
It's the definition of a Brewer. Normal dog is leaving. He's had enough until he sees this carrot in my hand. But yeah. So, the Brewers, let's talk a little bit more about them. I mean, this year, they got a good team. I think a lot depends on one guy, and I think that guy is Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich, if he can have a good year this year, I think will be extremely valuable for them. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Christian Yelich I feel like he's the heart and soul of Milwaukee. He was the last guy to win an MVP with the Brewers back in 2018, I believe, or 2019, one of the two, when him and Cody Bellinger went back and forth, which was pretty fun to watch. I think if we see Christian Yelich, I'm not going to say return to his MVP form, but become a more solid and reliable player all around as compared to the last couple seasons where he's had a few back issues, he'll become, that guy in Milwaukee again.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, last year...
You're muted.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, last year he played 117 games, batted .248, had a .736 OPS, which is very low for a guy like Christian Yelich, for a guy who in 2019 had a 1.1 OPS. I mean, that's just insane. This guy is a lot better than 736 OPS. He was striking out a lot. He struck out 113 times in 117 games. If they could get him back from 2019, this team might be able to win 95 games.
Oh yeah, they can certainly match, if not do better, especially with the addition of Andrew McCutchen. I mean, we already know that their pitching is there, and it's just really dependent on how much run support the pitching gets. And this lineup that they have set to roll out is looking like it will do the trick for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they think that. I'm not sure exactly how much I believe in that. The lineup this year would be Colton Wong at second. I think you're muted, your mic. Okay. Colton Wong at second, Lorenzo Cain center field, Christian Yelich in left, Andrew McCutchen DHing or playing outfield, could swap. Willie Adames at short, Rowdy Tellez at first, Hunter Renfro at right field, Omar Narvaez at catcher, and then Jace Peterson at third. I think it's a good lineup. I think they could have made some improvements. I think the loss of Eduardo Escobar, they traded for him last year. The loss of him is pretty big.
Yeah, it's a huge loss. I mean, now they have this guy Jace Peterson filling in, who I've never really even heard of his name before. Usually these
I've heard of him before.
Well, I really haven't.
Just not like a big guy.
Yeah, I can't imagine him being a big guy, but I mean, they don't need a superstar third baseman. They have Christian Yelich, they have Andrew McCutchen, they have Willie Adames, Hunter Renfro, and Colton Wong, who I think are all really, really plus hitters. They have a really good defender in Lorenzo Cain, who, if the bat can come back for him, then you're looking at a very, very solid, at least like 1 through 7, 1 through 8 type deal, and it's okay to have a little bit of a lackluster, number 9 hole bat, especially with the DH now in the American League. It kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, the National League, DH now in the National League. Yeah, and speaking of that DH, they're gonna have Andrew McCutchen there. It looks like, because Hunter Renfro, while he might not be the most athletic guy, we know that McCutchen is a pretty good defender. But Renfro's got an arm like no other, and he's like a serious threat. You don't really run on Hunter Renfro. And then Christian Yelich, they're not DHing him, no way. And Lorenzo Cain is one of the best center fielders in baseball, so no real point in taking him out. So while Andrew McCutchen seems a little weird to be DHing and like using him as your DH spot, it seems like that's what they're gonna have to do.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he turns into the odd man out type guy. Like all of the outfielders on their roster at the moment could be plus defenders and such, but I think just Kutch has the better bat and not as good defense as the other three can provide.
Yeah. He certainly has the bat. He wasn't 100% last year. I mean, he batted, what did he bat? Let's see, 2021. He batted .222, not great at all. Had a 778 OPS, 778 OPS. So also not great for what we know Andrew McCutchen could be. But also in Philly, he was never really as good as he was in past years. Last year was a big down year, so hopefully he doesn't keep digressing. He gets better now, starting now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that a change of scenery for Andrew McCutchen will be nice. We'll see him maybe pick up the pace a little bit. I think just Philly wasn't the place for him to be. He kind of just went where the money took him more than what the best fit was for him. I think that the Brewers are going to be like a great place for him to be.
Yeah, I agree. I really like. He's played good in like the first couple games of spring training, but then again, it's also just spring training. But I think if we see that good Andrew McCutchen, he'll be a serious asset and kind of underrated and like not like under the radar for the offseason.
Yeah, under the radar is actually a great way to describe Andrew McCutchen ever since he won MVP, basically. I mean, he's always been a very solid player. We know that for sure. I think that we're going to see Andrew McCutchen come back to like a better form than where he was in Philly, and I think we're going to see him in talks of, maybe winning a Gold Glove. Depending on if he plays the outfield, I think we could see him being in the race for the RBI title because this lineup does have people that can get on base. And depending on when Andrew McCutchen comes up in the lineup, he could be the guy driving them in.
Yeah, the Gold Glove argument I don't like. I don't think he's up there for a Gold Glove at all. I think he'll be DHing a lot. I'm not saying he won't play the field, but if everyone stays healthy, out of the 4 outfielders they have, him being one, it wouldn't make sense for them to DH him. I mean, for them not to DH him, which sounds kind of crazy because when you think of Andrew McCutchen, you don't think of DH, but he's also 36 years old. So, well, he's 35, but he'll be 36 soon. So,
Oh my God! I mean, in aging like a fine wine is how I would like to say Andrew McCutchen's career is going to go in the Brewers organization, and there's only one way to find out, and that's with watching baseball, which is coming up.
I mean, so far it hasn't really aged like a fine wine. He's gotten a lot worse, and he digressed pretty fast. I'm not saying he's not a valuable asset anymore, but he's definitely digressed a lot.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that I hope he ages like a fine wine from here on out.
Yeah, but he's already 36. I mean, how many years left does he have in the tank?
True.
And then another guy, Hunter Renfro, is someone who they got this year from the Red Sox. He's got a really good arm in outfield from a defense point of view. He also has the bat. I mean, he had 259, had a 816 OPS last year, which is pretty good. 114 WRC plus, 1.8 WAR. He played 144 games, 31 homers. I mean, he gets it done, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he more than just gets it done, and I think that adding somebody like him into the Brewers outfield will be a big plus. We'll see him definitely maintain his pace. I mean, the guy's, turning 30 this year? So I think we're just now seeing between last year and hopefully this year, we're going to see like the best version of Hunter Renfro, and I think there's no better place for him to do it than the Brewers.
I hope you're right. It would be fun to see.
Without a doubt.
And yeah, so the rest of their lineup's looking good. I want to talk about their pitching. They've got one of the best rotations in baseball, no matter which way you look at it. My microphone's off. That's my bad. They have one of the best starting rotations in baseball, no matter how you look at it. Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta, Adrian Hauser, Eric Lauer. I mean, all 5 of those guys are quality starters. Towards the bottom, Adrian Hauser, Eric Lauer are more of I could see how they're 4 or 5 guys. They might be 3 guys on some other teams, maybe 2 even. But the top 3, those 3 are unstoppable.
Yeah.
NL Cy Young, Corbin Burns.
Yeah, their top 3 guys are all, if they ever left Milwaukee, became number 1 options. Without a doubt. I mean, except for an exclusion of a couple of teams, but even then there's still an argument for them to be number 1 options. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the Brewers go about managing these pitchers, because obviously we've seen them have some really, really highs. I mean, last year they threw a combined no-hitter, which was fun to watch, without a doubt, right before the offseason, basically. But also, the Brewers do need their pitching a lot, and they're really leaning on and banking on the thought of a couple of runs for run support, and then their pitchers putting in all their work, basically. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I think they are going to be leaning on them a lot, like you said, but I do think their lineup can get it done in the days maybe they don't have it fully, because it's hard. As long as this team puts up like 4, maybe 5 runs, I think it's pretty safe to say that they'll probably win that game, because 4 or 5 runs for, even if their starter has a bad day, this bullpen is insane. Josh Hader and Devin Williams alone is enough to make me believe that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Josh Hader and Devin Williams is arguably one of the best 1-2 punches coming out of a bullpen in baseball.
I'd say so.
And don't forget Brad Boxberger, who I think is going to be a big setup guy for them, especially in games where it's not as close, to really keep Devin Williams and Josh Hader at bay, sort of, safe, if you will, rather than having to risk them going out there and both appearing in 90-plus games or something like that this season. So I'm just looking forward to even just that 1, 2, 3, and I think Josh Hader and Devin Williams are going to be competing for like reliever of the year. You know, they're both just fabulous pitchers.
Well, yeah, if they're as long as they're both healthy, there's zero reason why they wouldn't be competing for reliever of the year. I mean, last year Hader won it. Hader was like the best reliever in baseball by far last year. I mean, he had one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a reliever. He had a 1.6 ERA. He had a 1.23 ERA in 60 games, 58.2 innings pitched, 1.69 FIP. I mean, he was good. He was insane. He was Josh Hader. He's the best reliever in baseball currently. There's no question about it. And then behind me is Devin Williams, hand boy. He likes to punch walls, but he's got 2.50 ERA, which is a little higher than 2020, but in 2020 he was insane. So we know the potential's there. He's got the best changeup in baseball. He can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Williams is more than capable of getting it done, which is exciting because, you know, they're not going to be crutching on Josh Hader. Like you said, Josh Hader is still the best relief pitcher in baseball by light years. But I genuinely think the only one that can catch up to him is Devin Williams. And it's so funny because they're complete polar opposites. Devin Williams really leans on his, you know, his movement stuff, his breaking pitches, whereas Josh Hader throws these 102 mile an hour, 103 mile an hour fastballs that hitters couldn't even hit if they tried to for the most part.
Yeah. The pitches are deadly, but that's we knew that. It's been like that for years. Hader has unstoppable stuff. This pitching staff in general is the best in baseball. And I can confidently say that.
The best in baseball. I mean,
over the Dodgers.
I'm going to agree with you, but I think that margin is not as big as we think. How's that sound? Because, I mean, yes, they have
3 Cy Young guys.
Yeah, they
right
have
there.
3 Cy Young guys out of the starting rotation, and then they have 2 to 3 guys who can compete, like, in those tough situations, who can just get you outs when you need them, and in arguably some of the best ways possible, in Josh Hader and Devin Williams, along with, I think, Brad Boxberger. So we'll have to see what happens with them, but as of right now...
What has Brad Boxberger done that's made you believe that he's that good?
Well, 1, I like his name, and 2, I just think he's going to be, like, the sleeper guy, sort of like how Aaron Loop was for the Mets. Like, no one really thought that he would have that type of year with the Mets. You know,
where is that prediction coming from?
My mind.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I respect it.
Yeah, but I'm just looking forward to it, and I think preseason I can confidently agree with you that the Brewers have the best pitching staff in baseball.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it currently. I agree. Let's get into these over-unders because we haven't really done any of them yet. Christian Yelich, we were talking about how we want him to have a bounce-back season. It would be good to see, fun to see for everyone, really. No one's really rooting against him because why would you? I'm going to go, okay, so if he really does have a bounce-back year, 899 OPS, over or under?
I'm going to say over.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same because we know he's capable, and I mean, if he can bounce back, like I don't know where that guy went. We know what Christian Yelich 2018, 2019 can be. If we can get that guy back, then it's gonna be dangerous for the rest of the league. So.
Yeah, it'll be dangerous for the rest of the league, and it'll be even more dangerous for the National League Central, where, I mean, it's looking like there's another team that's trying to compete with them for that National League Central title.
I mean, the Cardinals, they've built up a lot in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll see what happens with them, and I think that the division is kind of riding more on Christian Yelich than you think, because if he can come back to, is 80% a fair number? Of the old Christian Yelich.
I'd say that's a fair number.
Because the team can produce without him. Like back in 2018, 2019, he was sort of the entirety of the offense.
Right.
But now that he has a few other hitters around him and a few other guys who can produce runs, we're going to see him not need to, do everything. but I definitely see him going over in OPS, and I think he's going to be a big part of this year's organization.
Yeah, I agree. And then next one, Corbin Burns. We were talking about best pitching rotation in baseball, best pitching staff in baseball. Over under 2.85 ERA.
I'm going to go over, but I'm still going to say that it's going to be sub 3.
So you think it's going to be between 2.85 and 3?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like just teeter-tottering in that area. I would love for him to go flying under, some like Bob Gibson stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think saying like 291 is like a fair number.
All right. I'm going to go with under because, I don't know. He won Cy Young last year. He had a 2 something ERA. He might have a little bit higher than last year, but I can't see it being by much. So I'm hoping he gets under. And then another guy with ERA, Josh Hader. I said he had a 3.1 ERA or a 1.3 ERA last year, 2.3. Do you think I'll have over under 1.25 this year? So that would still be very, very good.
Over under 1.25 ERA. I'm going to go under. I think he's going to not need to appear in as many games if Devin Williams comes back healthy and if their pitching staff can perform. We're not going to see him in as many games, which means less opportunities for him to increase his ERA. And even if he is in games, he's so good that we won't see him give up that many runs.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I mean, all of last year he was in games. Devin Williams wasn't injured till like September or October. I think October he got injured in like the clinching celebration when they clinched the division. But I don't know. I'm going to go over just because 1.25 is like insane. If he proves me wrong, I won't complain. But yeah, I'm going to go over. And then our final over-under is 92.5 wins for the Brewers. What do we think?
I'm going to say under, and I'm going to give you an exact number of 92. Like, I really think that 92 is going to be their magic number. Just because the Cardinals are now getting a little bit better. The AL Central is getting better.
You know what? We're going to change it to 92 then. The over-under is now 92.
No, son of a bitch.
So you're taking the push?
Yeah, I'm just going to take the push. Give me exactly 92. I feel like that's their magic number.
Our first push. I'm going to go over. I think 93. Yeah, no, I'm doing it. And then team MVP for this year. Who do we got?
I think I'm going to go with the sort of obvious one in Corbin Burns. I think he's just going to be another great pitcher.
There he is. Yeah, that's reasonable. I'm going to go with it's tough. There's a lot of good people on this team. Thinking, looking. I'm going to go Willy Adames. I mean, he was insanely good last year. We barely even talked about him. Insanely good last year for them.
That we did not talk about Willie.
Yeah, sorry, Brewers fans. Let's go Brewers. But I think Willy Adames, just because of the season he had last year after he left Tampa, hopefully he can keep it up.
Yeah, amen. I think Willy Adames will be one of those guys to look out for. I think that's a great pick. But then again, on the Brewers, I feel like everybody could be an MVP candidate for them.
Yeah, it's true.
Team MVP candidate. Team MVP candidate.
Yeah, like not normal MVP, just team MVP. I think that should do it. Yeah. I mean,
Milo, do you have any final thoughts?
Milo, thoughts? Thoughts? Can we get some thoughts?
Milo, what will it be, Milo?
We need to know.
All right, you heard it here first.
So that's what. Here, let's ask Milo from now on. So, Milo, I need you to tell me, the Milwaukee Brewers, the 2022 Milwaukee Brewers will be in. Come on. We need an answer here. First place, you heard it here first from Milo himself, normal dog. That's been it for this Brewers team projection will be. And, yeah, we'll see it tomorrow. We got the Trastros and the Rays.
How's this?